Good evening, good afternoon. Zachariah Jackson, Basa News. You know, when you think of karate, you think of Asia. You think of Chinese connection, Fist of Fairy, Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. You think of Karate, the Hong Kong cat. You think that the art was developed in Asia, mainly China and some parts of Japan. You don't think of Africa. Well, I'm talking to PK. That's your name?
Yes.
PK has got another twist on it. He says that the arts started in ancient Africa with the movements. And you know, I heard that one time there was a lady that was doing the Egyptian dance. And she said, no, in fact, it wasn't a lady. It was a guy by the name of Idris. Yes, Idris, he was a karate guy. And he said that it started in Asia. I mean, in Africa. He said that they went as far as Egypt. He said when they was doing those movements, there was actually karate movements.
Yeah.
Okay. I had the honor of going through your book, and maybe you can talk about it, dude. The name of the book and everything.
The name of the book is History of Martial Arts from Africa to America. And the reason why I put this book together was that I went to a lot of martial arts schools, my brother's schools, and I realized in the schools they have Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee,
Sure.
Japanese masters on the walls. And they have nothing about black people. They can speak Japanese martial arts from 1 to 10. They can speak Chinese martial arts and count from 1 to 10. But they use no African terminology. The African trade language is Swahili. All I'm saying is, yes, you know the Japanese martial arts, Chinese martial arts, but you're emphasizing Japanese and Chinese culture. All I'm saying is add some of your own culture into it because you're black, okay? And you're pushing someone else's culture. Put some of your own culture into what you are doing. Let the young people know that there was martial arts in Africa. And Egypt is in Africa. And in Egypt, on the walls, you see them doing K-Ra. And K-Ra transform into karate. But in Africa, the martial arts was there long before. I have an article in my book that a young white man wrote that the martial arts came from Savannah, Africa in 1975. His article was in Black Belt magazine. And this is a white boy that knows more about the African martial arts at that time than the blacks did. The blacks was not even interested in hearing about anything from Africa. Only thing they focused on was Japanese.
But let me interject this right here, PK. That had the black people seen Africans, actually, native Africans, doing karate, maybe that would have transcended this one. We basically seen the Asians doing it. I don't know a native African that was born on the continent that know anything about karate.
That's because in native Africa, it's like, in Africa, it's like here, the American Indians. If you do history, the American Indians, before they went to war, they drunk and got high at nighttime and danced all night long. That was their training. In Africa, before they go to war, they dance and train. They're dancing to train. They train all night long. What people have to understand is that the highest martial arts is dance. When you're in a real fight, you're not going to be rigid. Rigid is just a form of movements catalyzed, put together certain movements that they didn't want forgotten. In Africa, you learn to dance, the tribal dance. And the tribal dance is a fight dance. And also, what a lot of people do not know is when you're chosen as a young man to be a warrior, you go away for basically 2 years. And you train in different aspects for 6 months.
Sure.
And one may be grappling, one may be wrestling,
Sure.
one may be stick fighting, one may be spear fighting, and you also learn how to hunt. And after those period of time in your training, you come back, and if you're good enough, you're awarded a position in the warrior tribe, and you are become a protector.
Sure.
But the highest form of the art is a dance. It's flowing movement. When you fight, you flow. If you actually fought when you were stiff, you would lose. It's too rigid. So even though you're doing karate, when you get in a fight, you're moving fluidly. You're not moving stiff.
Sure. Sure. PK, walk us back as I came through the book and everything. Walk us back to a time in Africa when you can kind of identify, and maybe people can go on Google, go to the library and look some of this up, where different such and such tribe actually did the karate or the Tai Chi or whatever you call it.
Well, in Africa, remember, they didn't call it karate or Tai Chi. They just called it dance, tribal dances. And if you go back to slavery days, and there's a lot of information on YouTube, but if you go back to slavery days, when the slaves was taken from Africa, they did dance movements to celebrate certain holidays, to try to keep their culture alive. And their fighting movements was hidden inside the dance, as like a capoeira. Capoeira comes out of Africa. But remember,
what is capoeira?
Capoeira is called French foot fighting, sabat. And they basically fight with their feet, but it's a dance. Right? Remember, when Africans was taken from Africa, there was several trade routes.
Sure.
And they went to the Caribbean, they went to a lot of different places.
Sure.
And when the Africans tried to stay together, they tried to keep their art, the ones who knew art, tried to keep the art alive and pass it on.
Sure.
But as culture goes, young people didn't want to learn that. They got culturally colonized by the whatever country they landed in.
Sure.
And so they let their culture kind of die out. It wasn't passed on. Like in the movie Black Panther, right? If you saw him move, you didn't see him doing any stiff movements. He flowed.
So
he leaped, he jumped.
do the Asians do stiff movements?
The Asians do a flowing movement. It's like, if you understand the research, there is no animals in China or Asia. All the animals came out of Africa.
There's no lions and tigers and stuff like that in China?
No. Lions and tigers are in Africa, India, and Tibet. What came to, how the animal system came to China was that Buddha was not the first one, he was the second one. But Batu, he came from India to China. And the Shaolin temples were built for Batu. And he taught the animal system, which is, came out of Africa. Now, when Buddha came, the first 25 years, Buddha wasn't accepted. So he stayed in the cave. He developed his meditation, and he developed pole fighting.
Sure.
And when he came to Shaolin Temple, and Buddha came from a black tribe. When he came to Shaolin Temple,
so Buddha, you saying, was black?
Yeah, Buddha was black. When Buddha came to Shaolin Temple, all the monks was falling asleep during his lectures. So he taught them what they call a Lohan system, which is breathing exercises. And over the period of time, the Buddhist monks became very, very strong. And then also Buddha taught pole fighting. Now, if you understand and do your research, pole fighting in India and China, the word pole fighting is the same language used in Africa. It's called pole fighting. Okay? Stick fighting was the short sticks which they use in the Philippines.
Sure.
But pole fighting was the long poles they use in Africa, they use in India, and was brought to China. Every culture had their own warrior art, and they developed their art from the tools, forming tools they had.
So, PK, with this knowledge that you have, and with this video going viral, hopefully, it's going to be in the World Wide Web anyway. What could a young person, should a young person of African descent, should they, before they go in karate, should they have an African identity in karate, or should they have a Asian, Oriental identity in karate?
We're here in America. Learn what's available, but do some research and find out about your culture. Find out about the art. I put the book together for several reasons. One, that my teacher, who is from Burma, told me they had black Buddhists in Burma. That's number one. Number two is...
And where's Burma?
Burma's in Asia.
Is it near China?
No, it's it's Asian art, the Philippines. The Philippines. And he sparked a light in me when he said that they had black Buddhist monks. So if they had black Buddhist monks know how to fight. Most do. Because that's part of their training to strengthen the body, for the health aspect of it. The other reason why I put the book together was that a lot of people didn't know a lot of black martial artists in the area. And we do more than just kicking and fighting. We teach young people about confidence, strength, focus, to do better in school, balance, coordination, rhythm. Fighting is an aspect of the martial arts. Forms is an aspect of the martial arts, which we use to teach young people to help develop their memory and exercise their body and develop their body. So we as martial artists, black martial artists, we do more than just fight. We train young people to be better people. That's what the martial arts is about. Fighting aspect is only 10%. Hopefully we never really have to use it.
Sure.
Especially this day and time, because the way the law is, you get shot or go to jail. But it's to make you a better person.
Self-defense and make you a better person.
Right, but in the state of New Jersey, there is no self-defense. But it's to make you a better person. So all I'm saying is, yeah, learn karate from wherever you can, learn kung fu from wherever you can, learn Philippine martial arts. But if you're black, do some research. Find out about where the art came from. Find out about your own culture. The Jamaicans, they are very skillful in using the machete. That's an art in Jamaica. It's actually a fighting art in Jamaica.
Is it actually a fighting art, or do they work on the plantations, like on the sugar cane and stuff like that?
It's a forming tool, but it's also a fighting weapon. When the Jamaicans country was invaded, they use machete as weapons to defend themselves. Every culture has to defend themselves when they're invaded. Every culture has a different fighting style, but it came from somewhere.
So with the knowledge, if someone wanted to reach out and probably and actually purchase your book to learn about the ancient cultures of Africa and the arts, you know, the material arts and things of that nature, the karate, and, well, you didn't call it karate, but those disciplines, how would they do that?
Well, they can contact me at 579-9142. And they can do research because there's a lot of information on YouTube. All I did was gather information from different sources
Sure.
and bring it together to expose it to other people and to share with other people, because we don't get the credibility that we should. In the movies, you see a lot of white martial artists, a lot of Chinese martial artists.
Yeah.
You see very, very few black martial artists. And
I think the last one I've really seen, and I guess I could kind of take, a little serious, would be actually Jim Kelly.
right,
Jim Kelly was one.
yes, he was.
And other than that, on the big screen, that's about it.
But even in Jim Kelly's movie, when the movie first came on, if you realize there was training in pool halls,
Sure.
and in basements, because see, back in that time, you wasn't allowed to do martial arts as a black person. You know?
Well, when the entry of the identity part that I seen from Jim Kelly was when he was on Enter the Dragon and they was gonna let him go with Bruce Lee at the time to that Allen. And I think before he went, he was in a school somewhere with all the black
Yes.
guys afros, and they all
Right.
were doing the karate
Right.
and things. And I remember back in those days, there was a program in Newark called the Newark School
Right.
on Belmont Avenue, which turned into Urban Turn. And we used to do, I was a white belt. We all had the karate geeks, the karate, what do you call them things?
Karate geeks.
The karate geeks. We had the whole thing, you know. And we would just be punching, punching all, kicking and making the noise and everything,
Well, back in the day, we was learning martial arts to defend ourselves, because back in the day when we came up, there was a lot of prejudice,
Sure.
and cops was, harassing us, and you couldn't go to Bloomfield. You couldn't cross the Bloomfield line, you get beat up. So when the soldiers came back from the military, they learned the martial arts over in Japan, stuff like that. And the first art that we brought back was judo. The second art they brought back was karate. So they
Yeah, I heard of judo first, that's
right.
for sure.
So they shared it
I knew
in the
what that was.
neighborhoods, and that's how I got started. And as time goes on, everything has its era. Then Kung Fu came out
Sure.
with Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan.
So
and
Bruce
Jet
Lee was in karate,
No, Bruce Lee was not karate.
Kung Fu, and
Kung Fu.
Chinese boxing.
Yes.
Chinese boxing is different than Kung Fu, is that
Yes.
right? Yeah, well, then let me ask you this right here from a diversity point of view. Is it all right for a young Afro black person to have a hero that's not black in the arts? Can he have a Bruce Lee? Can he have, someone like that?
Sure. Anything that will motivate you to be positive in life, if you want to use them as a hero, use them to get you where you want to go at, as long as you're doing the right thing. Like a lot of black martial arts schools, they change a lot of children's lives. A lot of parents, single parents, put their children in the martial arts schools because they don't have that balance in their household. They don't have the discipline in the household. So they send them to the karate school
To learn discipline.
to learn discipline. When I came up, we spent 2 hours in the dojo, 2-3 hours in the dojo. Now it's 45 minutes. Different time, different era. But different reason. We was training back then to defend ourselves in the street. Yeah, you still need to defend ourselves in the street now, but if you get educated in the martial arts and become well trained in the martial arts, you understand you can't get in a fight on your job. If you get in a fight on your job because you know how to fight, you will lose your job.
Sure.
You get fired, you get locked up, and it's not worth you losing your job. So you have to also be versatile, and your teacher has to be versatile with it to teach you how to fight physically and understand to be able to fight mentally. Because physical always has another side to it. And sometimes, well, the individual, it might be bad. But if you use your mind to fight somebody and beat them up, you can survive much better.
Is there any schools that you could recommend that a young person of African descent should just drop by and maybe get motivated, whether they're going to another school or not?
There's Kincaid School in Mount Clair. Kincaid School of Martial Arts in Mount Clair. There's Devon's Eternal Life School in Hillside. There's A.J. Walker School on Main Street in Orange. Those are two schools that I'm affiliated with.
And the Kincaid School, who's the instructor?
Fuquan Kincaid, he's the headmaster of the school. He's been doing martial arts for over 50 years. Devon, Eternal Life, he's one of my students. He's been doing the martial arts for over 30 years. A.J. Walker's a friend of mine. He's been doing the martial arts for over 40 or 50 years.
So it's important to get under someone that's been practicing for a long time.
Yes, and somebody that...
Because it's an art.
It's an art.
Yeah.
And understand, there's a difference between instructors and teachers. Teachers teach versatility. Instructors teach back what they were taught.
Well, can you use either or?
You can use either or, but you will not gain all the art that you can learn from an instructor. And it's not their fault, because the teachers didn't teach them to be versatile, teachers. So they are learning along the path. Eventually they will turn into teachers as they're, running their dojos. But like I said, when you have students, you learn from them and they learn from you. This is why I consider myself a teacher. I don't call myself a master. I've been in the martial arts since 1963, but I'm a teacher because I learn from my students.
5 years.
I learn from my students, and my students learn from me.
You said 1963?
Yes.
Wow, that's 5 years? Wow. And where do you go to train? Are you in a school?
No, I have my own system. I've had fortune enough to train with some real masters from here. My father, Mr. Masi, his teacher, Dr. Mongji, from Burma, and we trained from Ohio. I've had other teachers from Indonesia, from China, teacher Andy Salon from Chicago. I've had several teachers, and they saw something in me, so they decided to share it.
Have you ever met a person from a native African that was born on the continent that made toast that I'm a Nigerian, I'm an Ethiopian, I'm an Egyptian, I'm whatever, from whatever country, and that they actually practice the art of karate?
Well, I said don't call it karate, but I had he's no longer with us now, Dr. Hadari. He came from Africa. He stayed in my house, and he shared a lot of spiritual ancestral stuff with me, which enlightened me about the African art.
So, again, if someone wanted your book, how would they reach you to get it?
They can contact me at 862-579-9142, or you can email me at pkkhan5@gmail.com.
Well, before we end this here, I just want to touch on Angola. And you mentioned something in the book about Nzinga, who was the queen of Angola. And her fierce fight. Were they using martial arts?
Well, the person in the book that you read about was a sister I met down in Lang City. I believe she's from either Chicago or Detroit. And she's very versatile and very well known for her culture that she developed in the African martial arts. She is born here and raised in America, but she has traveled to Africa, and she's spent time with some tribes and got information, and she brought it back here, and she teaches it.
From an African perspective.
from African perspective, yes. And utilizing African weapons.
Oh, yeah, and what's her name? Do you know her name?
I can't remember my name offhand, but she's in the book.
So we're going to end this segment of talking about the miracles, the wonders, the ancient truths of Africa. And my brother PK here talks about the martial arts that it actually started in Africa and went every place else.
By the way, PK is from PaKa Khan.
PaKa Khan? What that mean?
Well,
Is that one name, PaKa Khan?
there's two names. When Dr. Ajari came here, he took me through a spiritual incantation, and it revealed to me that my spiritual protector was the Black Panther. PaKa, the Swahili word, which means panther. My middle name is Mwalimu, which is Swahili, which means master teacher.
So do you spell like Tupac spell his name? P-A-C?
I spell it P-A-K-A.
P-A-K-A.
It's PaKa. It's Swahili.
Well, thank you for listening.
And thank you for your time.
Good night.